I've been on the tourism board here, Destination New South Wales, for quite a long time, which has an events agenda. And of course, you know, that dates back to my experience of the Sydney's winning bid. And the government asked me to just provide some extra time to see if we could get 10 major events in the next 10 years, over and above the 500 that we do each year. You know, these are events that the sports themselves are going to really do the bids. If you take rugby, Rugby Australia is going to bid it. And I'm just there in the background really trying to help to hone the bid up, to emphasise what I think are the key messages. Because in events like this, it's quite competitive. You know, the government's behind this initiative. They asked me to do it. And, you know, this government's a proven performer. This city has the seal of approval because of the Olympic Games and other international events. There's never a question mark, can you do it? In this day and age, the commitment of government has to be absolute, you know. Security is absolutely vital for the safety of spectators and players. Your transport solution's got to be perfect. And on you go down through those infrastructure issues where our government here has always delivered on its promise. We had every Olympic venue ready by 1998. We had the convention centre ready for the events that came in 2017, even though we won the bids when it was vacant, because you can trust the government. So we'd be putting forward those sort of strengths. Somebody else might be saying, well, it's not your turn yet, or it should be in another part of the globe. And my job's to meet all those arguments. And at the moment, you know, we won't actually have a major football facility in Sydney available because we're going through some knockdowns and renovations. So we're offering a first-class stadium in Newcastle and Maitland, and we're giving the teams really wonderful accommodation in amongst the vineyards, surrounded by golf courses and swimming pools and that sort of thing. And we don't think our opponents would do quite as much as that, and only time will tell whether we've done enough. Decision in November of this year, and by coincidence we've got World Rugby here. And so we've really tried to show what we can do. Governor-General gave a great barbecue. We took them around the harbour. The usual things we would do to show the city and let them feel as what their national spectator support group would have if they came to Sydney. It's all part of it. And we do it all the time. But at the end of the day, you know, I think that the experience here, particularly the experience of the wider Hunter Valley around that Newcastle stadium, is going to be pretty special. So what we're offering is far more than's ever been done before in hosting a Women's Rugby World Cup.
Probably people don't realise at one point you were wearing a New Zealand tie and pitching on behalf of the Kiwis for the 2011 World Cup. So you have World Cup experience as well. Do you think Australia has the capacity to host again in 2027? Oh,
no doubt about it. We've got the capacity. We've had it a couple of times, but so's New Zealand, so's South Africa. So, you know, I think it's a case of whether Argentina's capable of doing it. Now, I go to Argentina a lot. I'm on a board of a company involved there. And, you know, it's a country that's struggling a little economically, but it's a great country and great rugby country and good venues. And I think there the question will be, will the government have been able to convince really the world that it can afford it, that it can deliver on its promises? The bigger the infrastructure challenge is to get ready, the greater the strain on your budget, the likelihood that there'll be political opposition because people think the money should be spent else. That's the problem that you get. And, you know, the Olympic movement has really, in the last 2 or 3 years, had some troubles in that area. I mean, Hamburg, Budapest, Rome all withdrew a bid because of the sort of reputation post-Rio, and all going, oh, I'm not sure we want to do this. And so Paris and Los Angeles have in effect been given the games of 24 and 28. So you can take on something that's beyond you.
The 25th anniversary, as you said, of the Sydney Olympic bid, it must feel like yesterday. You had a function, I understand. What does that feel like 25 years on?
Oh, look, you know, we had a wonderful evening, but I think, you know, my message last night was how lucky all of us are that we were involved. You know, many of us have had a different career as a result and had much more international experience than we ever imagined. But there's nothing you can't lose. We never gave a guarantee we'd win during the Olympic bid, but what we did say is we'd be as professional as we could be. And I'd like to think that that's our benchmark this time too.